Hello to you all, Millie Lloyd, hope you're all good. It's Old School Gamer 1971 with my top 10 for upcoming games for 2019. If you would, please like, comment, share and subscribe to help the channel grow and puts a big old smile on this old face. Post your list down below in the comments, I look forward to reading them. Number 10, Kingdom Hearts 3, coming to the PlayStation 4 and developed by Square Enix. With less than a month till its release, I still can't believe it's finally coming out. I followed the originals on the PlayStation 2, I got the compilation for the PlayStation 3, and will get the entire collection for the PlayStation 4. This is a Final Fantasy Disney crossover. Its combat is action orientated with RPG mixed in for good measure. For those who don't know, this was announced for the PlayStation 3 very early on, then it was re-announced for the PlayStation 4. And it was announced at the same time as Final Fantasy 7, which seems to be in the same development hell that Kingdom Hearts 3 used to live in. The graphics look so good and cannot wait to own this game. This generation has had so many amazing titles, and looking at this game, it looks like it's going to be the best one yet. I got to see this in all of its glory at EGX. The queues to play it were massive all day long. It's going to be a big seller and quite deservedly so. It comes out on the 25th of January 2019. My number 9, Medieval, coming to the PlayStation 4 and is developed by Other Ocean Interactive. So I got the original on day of release and the second game exactly the same, both for the PlayStation. I never really got into the original PSP, so I never got to play the third game. Then all went quiet, other than an appearance in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Then last year, out of nowhere, they announced they are remaking the original from the ground up. This year they have started to show the game, and boy does it look good. You play as Daniel Fortescue, who is a hero of the battle. However, the truth is he fell at the first volley of arrow fire. Like Crash and Spyro before, it is an iconic game and it's looking amazing. I am so glad to see the games that made the PlayStation 1 the place to play, and now they're reaffirming the PlayStation 4 as the place with remakes and reimaginings of the same games. After the Shadow of the Colossus, Ratchet & Clank, Crash and Spyro, the PlayStation 4 shows why backwards compatibility might be nice, but sometimes there is something more that can be done with a property. So you make the PlayStation 5 backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, but also don't stop making these games, as I love to see what is achievable now. Medieval is due for release in 2019. So my number 8, Psychonauts 2, coming out for the PlayStation 4 and is developed by Double Fine Productions. The original game was on PlayStation 2, and whilst there was a PlayStation VR title, there has never been a proper follow-up until now. I love the original so much. It was such an original concept, and nothing else like it has come out since. Not many times does something come along that is that original, and many games have borrowed ideas from the game. Batman Arkham's Scarecrow sections come straight to mind. It is a platform adventure where you enter other people's minds. Double Fine are a company that make games that are different. This is why I brought a PlayStation, because every generation has its weird and its wonderful games. Aquanauts Holiday and Harvest Moon for the PlayStation 1. For the PlayStation 2, Psychonauts and God of War. You have to remember that before God of War came out, there weren't nothing else like it. So yeah, it is weird and wonderful, and it was original at the time. For the PlayStation 3, Flower and Valkyria Chronicles. For the PlayStation 4, Abzu and Detroit Become Human. With Death Stranding on the way, I know the experiences I will always want will always be there. Psychonauts 2 is releasing sometime in 2019. And so on to my number 7, Judgment, coming out for the PlayStation 4 and is developed by Sega. Okay, right, this game was shown as Project Judgment. Then they changed the name to Judgment Eyes, and finally Judgment. This has been brought to us by the team that made Yakuza, and whilst the story seems like it's done, at least for now, this looks very similar, which is a good thing. I've played most of the Yakuza games and look forward to seeing what this game brings. The stories have always been good, and I hope that this game follows suit. I've loved the quality of games that has been improving this generation. Whether it is AAA or indie games, they have always been outstanding. Sega has announced that this game will release sometime in the West in 2019. Number 6, Resident Evil 2 Remake, being brought to us by Capcom and is for the PlayStation 4. Hey, did you know? When the original Resident Evil 2 released in America, they had a national day off, as they feared if they didn't, people just wouldn't go to work. Either that or Mr. President was a huge Resident Evil fan. I have to be honest, this was my third favourite game in the original trilogy. However, this is looking so good. Whereas the original was maybe rushed out a little, this has had all the time and love it needs. With more reimaginings on the way, this looks like the survival horror is definitely present in this game. And with it being so close to release, I cannot wait till this is in my hands. It releases on the 25th of January 2019. My number 5, Death Stranding, coming to the PlayStation 4 and developed by Kojima Productions. Okay, I know there is a lot of people who are going to be saying this game is not coming out in 2019. However, I believe it is. So, for me, Death Stranding is the game of hopefully next year. With Kojima, he will be looking at the perfection, so it will be ready when it's ready. Sony doesn't rush things out the door. With what's being said, it will be a whole different experience. I've always respected what Kojima does. I may not have always liked it. This, on the other hand, I think is going to be something special. The reins are off, and we are finally going to get to see what a full-on Kojima game is like. With some mainstream actors and the Decima engine, this is going to be special. It was used on Horizon Zero Dawn. With no firm release date, I can only hope that will be at some point this year. Which, I'll be honest, I do. I think that after what Norman Reed has said, I think it might be towards October time, but I think Death Stranding will release this year. So on to my number 4, Far Cry New Dawn. Comes out for the PlayStation 4 and it's developed by Ubisoft. Over the last few years, I've become more than aware of my love of open world games. And whilst I still enjoy RPGs, it's open world that I keep going back to. Now, one of my favourite games of this year is Far Cry 5. The world is beautiful and the gameplay is fun. Earlier this year, I done an old school opinion piece on companies starting to use the worlds that they've created for a second time, as they're often beautiful and it's a shame when they're forgotten about. Fast forward to the Game Awards and they announced New Dawn. Now, I'm not laying claim that somebody listened to what I had to say or anything else, but I do hope that other companies will follow suit. The fact again is that it's in a post-apocalyptic world and I'm totally on board, and I'm still playing Far Cry 5 New Game Plus for that final trophy. It's releasing on the 15th of February 2019. Right, we're out on the limb here again, people. Number 3, Outer Worlds. PlayStation 4, developed by Obsidian. Right, I know, but I think they might try and release it in 2019, the end of. After Mad Max, I realised that I love post-apocalyptic games. My next game was Fallout 4. Again, I love the game's world. Then all went quiet. Then Fallout 76 came out, and whilst I held off buying it, fortunately, I do look forward to Metro Exodus after a trip to EGX. Fast forward to December and the Game Awards, and Outer Worlds is announced. It is most likely Obsidian's last game for the PlayStation 4. It's the same team that brought us Fallout New Vegas, and this looks like it's everything that Fallout 76 should have been. And whilst Metro Exodus will be a nice stopgap till Outer Worlds release, I'm just happy that there will soon be 2 new wastelands for me to wander around. Again, no real release date, but fingers crossed for 2019. So my number 2, Last of Us Part 2, developed by Naughty Dog and is coming to the PlayStation 4. Again, it's set in a post-apocalyptic world. Well, I'm happy. It's the second story involving Elle and Joel. Last time around it was a rollercoaster ride of emotion from beginning to end. Whether it's the opening with Sarah or the end, it makes you feel something. Most of the friends that I have agreed that this game is amazing, and from what I've seen, the second game looks like it's going to be better than the original in almost every single way. Naughty Dog somehow just seem to one-up their previous game time after time again. Considering their roots is in Crash Bandicoot, it's almost unbelievable the games that they've released now. Just a little worried about Joel, as no graphics have been shown so far, only that he is in the game. With the only confirmation so far of it being sometime in 2019, this is going to be major once it releases. My guess is October-November 2019, just in time for that Christmas dollar. So my number 1, Days Gone, coming to the PlayStation 4 and it's developed by 10's Studios. So why is Days Gone my number 1? There is an argument for any one of my top 10 to be in this position. However, this is the only game that has interested me each time I've seen it. The game looks amazing, and the further you look into the rabbit hole, the more amazing the game becomes. I like the world, the story, but it's what you can do with the horde that makes the game look so good. It's how they rush you, how you can use them against your enemy. It's an infected bear rushing towards you. It's people trying to kill you. To me, it's something we have never had from a game as a whole. With customizable weapons and motorcycle, it seems it has so much depth. And a map that you need a vehicle to cover, and weather changes everything. I am so looking forward to this game, and it's coming out on the 26th of April 2019. Well, that's about it for me today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Old School Gamer 1971 signing off. Oh yeah, and sorry I didn't get any capture. I haven't really got the facility to do it right now except with my phone, and it just looks dodgy. Anyway, have a happy new year.